Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Instagram live today. And today I will be joined by Ola, Monica, and Beatrice, and we'll be talking about coping with the festive season when trying to conceive. So let me bring the girls to this Insta live. Coping with all the technical bits.
Hey.
Hello, girls.
Hey.
Hi.
How are you ladies doing?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm okay too. Let's see if Monica is here. I can't see Monica yet.
Monica, where are you?
I
She
mean,
get mixed up with all the time changes.
we've adjusted the time so many times.
I know.
I've just invited her. Let's see if she comes.
Okay.
But I think talking about coping with the season is really important because everywhere we go, I've started to see Christmas stuff. Have you?
Yeah. And I love Christmas. I mean, Christmas is amazing. I celebrate Christmas. I know it's not everyone that does, but it's just that Christmas, for one, is centered a lot around family and children.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why it can be a little bit much. If you're trying, then of course everyone is asking you, when are you gonna have a baby? Don't keep it too long. Don't wait too long. You're like, I know. But yeah,
and
it can be much.
it says here Monica unable to join. Let's join.
Yes, Jazzy Frazier in the comments. He said everyone with beautiful family photos. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think you mentioned all the family, and Jazzy mentioned family now. And last night I was reading on Twitter a really controversial post by someone who said that they don't agree with the sentence of starting a family when we refer to start having kids, because we are already a family as we are. We have our partners, and of course we have parents, sisters, brothers, everything. So and the amount of bad comments from people saying that starting a family refers solely to having children, I was so shocked.
Yeah.
And
because that's what people have always said, right? That's what people have always said. When are you starting a family? Like,
yeah, I started my family. My family started me.
Yeah, exactly.
But
exactly.
there's lots of family photos, and you're right, during this festive season we see those commercials on TV, and it's always around the presents to table, and there's always families and children, and I think we need to talk about that today.
Yeah, and especially when people send their cards as well. Yeah, when people send their cards with the family, with the kids' photos, and then sometimes you kind of feel bad when it's just a picture of you and your partner.
Do you send
or yourself?
Do you send cards like that, Ola?
No, I don't. I think I'm like, no.
Yeah, I've been sending a few over the last couple of years of me, Frank, and the dog.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I mean,
yeah.
That's
your family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Beatrice, you were saying. Yeah.
Christmas is very family-centered, isn't it? Because, for some people, you have the religious part of it, which is kind of rare because Christmas has become like a cultural movement and not really related to, religion per se. And then so we associate Christmas with spending time with our families, buying gifts for our kids. And so the meaning of it kind of takes different shapes for different people. And I agree that, on TV, you only see, the family around, the dinner table and kids opening up presents. And I think this would be a great opportunity for us to reflect what Christmas means for different people, or what it could have of positive for different people without it being associated with kids or even family necessarily. I think it's such a joyous moment for you, perhaps, to refocus on yourself. you know, and maybe those will be some things that we'll discuss. I'm waiting for Monica still.
Yeah, I've just
Yeah.
maybe we need to start. What does Christmas mean to you, Ola, or the festive season? You know, in general.
So, so of course, because I know it has religious, meaning for sure. But I think as well, lots of people probably celebrate just because it's towards the end of the year,
Mm-hmm.
and most people are off from work, and people might travel, and you just feel like there's a lot of time to be together as a family. So even if you don't have religious beliefs associated with Christmas, it just happens to be a time of the year that, for whatever reason, lots of people are available to spend time together.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, Christmas time is hanging out with my family, and family again will be my parents, siblings, their kids, my husband, friends as well. Just basically having a good time. And of course, because it's towards the end of the year, you also start preparing for the next year, and planning that this time next year this will have changed. There'll be that and this. So it's usually a good time because then you reflect on the year as well, what you've done, what you've accomplished, what you could do better. So it's a time of reflection and spending time with loved ones for me.
Yeah, I think my favorite memory of this festive season is a table of 30 people at my parents' house, all of us sharing a meal together. And it's
Yeah.
that we haven't been able to do over COVID. But I've also had a very special Christmas when, because of COVID, I couldn't travel. So it was just Frank and I, the dog. It was still very, it's sharing a time of reflection with the people that you love, and
Yeah.
and even the ones that are close to you, the way of with over
Sorry, I
Zoom.
can't hear you. Is it me or
No, now
can you?
the end. I couldn't hear what you said at the end.
Me.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
now
better
I can
now.
hear you fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying that even if we can't be together with everyone we love, I think there's still ways of, either over Zoom or there's
Yeah.
being together with other people that we love. But I think one of the biggest challenges is when we are going through infertility and maybe our family is not aware of it, and maybe they start asking questions. Maybe we are meeting people who we haven't met in a long time, so they start asking, when are you having a baby? So I think those can be really challenging questions at the dinner table with
Yeah.
people who of course mean a lot to us, but maybe we are not necessarily ready to share everything, or maybe we just don't want to talk about it because we're feeling extra sensitive during this time of the year.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you mentioned two very important things. One was reflection, which can be kind of difficult to do, isn't it? We not always go to the conclusions we would like to go to, and sometimes it can be very negative to do those, reflection moments alone. And the other thing I think is quite interesting, this is difficult for people trying to conceive, but for a lot of other people who feel isolated, which I think it's the factor that is in common, people with fertility, not with infertility problems, not wanting to share as much, and then because of that being isolated, there are a lot of people that seasonably, including Christmas, have more depression, have higher degrees of depression. Suicide rates also go up during Christmas. So it's not as jolly as we think this times of the year are. So I was just trying to challenge here a thought of, is Christmas just for family, or how could it be just for people who have to spend it alone or don't have a big family to spend it with? Because I have the exact same memory that Andrea has, because we're sisters, so Christmas for us is like big family around the dinner table, a few kids when someone gives birth, but we are used to that dynamics, and this is not the dynamics that a lot of people are used to. Some people have to spend Christmas alone or don't want to spend it with their families because they don't want to share what's been going on with them. What do you think these people could benefit from during Christmas?
I think some couples take that time and just go on holidays together somewhere.
there's that movie, right? There's that movie. What was that? With what's her name? Jenny. Something. Kate Hudson.
I don't know,
Where
maybe.
each Christmas they go away and they lie to their family that they're going away to help some kids somewhere, but they just get away by themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's very valid. And it's about you creating your own tradition, what is meaningful to you. How about you, Ola? What do you think they can do?
I think here in Nigeria, of course, there's a lot of pressure, if you're married, and there's a lot of talks about kids, but lots of people, even if they don't have their own families, either even they're single, will go to their perhaps immediate family, like where maybe their parents or siblings or nieces and nephews, or just hang out with friends. So I think Christmas is seen here as a time to just eat lots of food in different places and have a good time. So you might not necessarily be with your own family, but even with your friends, people will do that anyway. But of course, the issue arises if you're trying to conceive or if you're single, and then people start pressuring you about when are you getting married, or if you're married, then when are you having kids, and if you have one kid, when is the second one coming, and then if you have one sex for the kids you have, then when are you going to try for the next sex? And it's like never ending. Anyway, no matter what you do, there's always another question.
And Jazzy is making a comment here that family doesn't necessarily understand and is frustrating. So even if maybe we try to escape and say, this year I'm not going to our family dinner and we're just doing something on our own, how can we maybe navigate that conversation to make them understand that we need something different?
I don't think people understand. Sorry.
What do you think? I mean, the perspective of a patient is more important. So what do you think, and if you've ever done something like that, communicating this?
So I've always spent Christmas with my family, meaning my parents and siblings, and we always just get around in the same person's house, one person, and we all just spend the entire Christmas together. And I think this Christmas coming, I was saying to my mom, she's like, "Oh, ain't you gonna be around for Christmas?" And I was like, maybe not. And then she's like, "I don't understand. Are you gonna be where?" Like, it's like, what do you mean you're not gonna? Right? So and then I started feeling like, oh, maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe it's selfish of me to want to spend Christmas away. Maybe this is a time for me to be with them, right? So even when you want to do something different, you start to question yourself because of how people might perceive it. So just like Jazzy Frazier was saying, that people don't understand. And she was saying that she's been married for 11 years, so hearing the same questions every year is overwhelming. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. I think
it's annoying.
It's annoying, and I think that's why if people feel strongly enough, I always encourage to share a bit, or at least to say, I don't want to talk about it. I am in my own journey. When I'm ready to talk, I will talk. But just protecting yourself from those questions and saying something that maybe encourages them to ask you less times the same question. And it's not an easy question to answer because everyone will have different answers. And I've had times when, depending if people are people I know really well, or if people are strangers and they ask that question, I've been finding different answers throughout the last 20 years. And my last answer is always, I can't have children. And I just stopped feeling worried about what other people might feel or not. I just don't care anymore if they feel uncomfortable with that.
Yes.
Did anyone ask you a follow-up? Why not? When you ask that, when you say that?
Yeah, and I say I was born without a uterus. And of course, then there's all the other suggestions you can adopt and all of that. But
I love that.
Crazily
I love that
enough,
way of answer.
yeah.
I would do the same.
Crazily enough, if you said that here in Nigeria, that you're born without uterus, I know for a fact, because certain people, of course not everyone, but I've heard people say things like, when maybe we're having a conversation with someone and I was like, oh, that person doesn't have a uterus, and it's like, oh, well, still there's nothing that God can do, like, it can still be a miracle. I'm like, I don't understand, like,
Yes.
what do you like, and then they look at you like you're being negative, you're not having faith, like, you're not. It's like, I don't understand. Did you not hear what I said? And do you not know how children come to be and where they stay? Like, so even that, sometimes when you say things that is the reality, sometimes people make it seem like you chose that reality because you're not exploring other options, or you're not believing that it can happen in spite of that reality. So
Yeah, it's frustrating for us as well.
It seems really interesting. So we talked about 2 or 3 things. One was trying to avoid the situation, and I think that can be very protective sometimes. I think it can be not so good other times, right? We can only run away to a certain extent, or to avoid to a certain extent. And I really like the comment that someone made here, saying that what worked for me was explaining to my family that I just want to be treated like everyone else. I would talk to my family about how I was feeling and they would understand, which is the ideal scenario. But I love the second thing that Andrea said, which was, I just tell people I can't. And I can't make up for whatever the other person is feeling. Of course, I won't be rude, but it's not my feelings to manage. It's their feelings, isn't it? And knowing these 2 things, I think it's super important. One is running away can only work to a certain extent, and assertiveness is what I think can be truly protective. And if the other person is not keen on responding politely, that's on them. It's their fault. It's not yours.
Yes, I am agreeing. I love the answer that Andrea said. I will say the same. And what the point that Ola said about having faith. One thing is that we believe, I think all of us, we believe in a higher power, but there is certain things that we come to nature that not even a higher power can fix, not because we don't believe. And for me, that's when it comes to toxic positivity, Ola. I hate that. When that comes, Betty, maybe, I don't know, it's my Latino side, my Colombian side, I'll say it right away, come on. If someone come with that comment to me, I will say, it's like this, I will see it as judgmental. You are not that person to tell me how is my faith. If you're born without uterus, what do you want me to do? So maybe, I don't know, Jesus is going to come tomorrow and put it to me. Are you kidding me? That's something that I will stop right away. Like, toxic positivity doesn't go, because it's kind of passive aggressive too attitude, and I'd rather have an aggressive attitude where I can just stop it right away and not go through the corners, than passive aggressive. I don't know, what do you think about that, Betty? But when I look at that, I'd rather have something more active and direct than around the corner, right?
Yeah, I think when you're passive aggressive, it comes across as somewhat cynical or not being serious. And when you just stop it right there, at least people know where you stand. And I agree. People try to fix what isn't broken. Oh, you can adopt, or you can do this. And so it becomes their problem, as if they're infected with whatever's going on with us, which is not bad. People don't do this because they are mean. They are trying to fix it without understanding the depth of what's going on.
Yes, because they don't know.
That's the problem. Yes. Because they don't know. Yeah, exactly. Someone wrote, I know it's not the same for other women going through fertility struggles, but I'm so grateful for my family. So I think that's really good when other people can understand what you're going through. It's not what happens always.
Yes. And I think that one of the things when we are going through infertility or any kind of issue that is affecting us, our normal way to parenthood, I think that the worst that sometimes we do to ourselves, because I've been there, is isolated, and it's not only when it comes to infertility, it can be when you have issues with your children, or when you have issues in your relationship, and then it's like putting yourself as victimizing, and I said that from my own experience. So it's like it's something in us humans that sometimes like we enjoy that suffering, and it's just ridiculous because what we are doing is dragging ourselves more and more to darkness. So somehow we need to stand up, look at the light and say, okay, yes, I have this issue. I am not reaching my goal yet. I have tried, I don't know, multiple times. Some people like me 5 times. Ola, I know that you have tried so many times. There is people that
Yeah.
even more than Ola. I had a friend in UK years ago that she did 17 times until eventually she was able to have one baby from one embryo that was like, she didn't even have faith on that, and boom, it happened. But when we are going through that, one of the advice I will suggest is surround yourself with people that you love, with people that knows your situation and know that they cannot come with these sarcastic or cynical, non-known comments, because they know. Because you know what, love is something that definitely we need, no matter how, in what kind of way it comes. But don't isolate yourself because you make it worse. Just a suggestion. Of course, in the end, we have a choice. We choose to suffer, or we choose to be happy, or we choose to be in the middle and try to find that light.
And girls, if we have an event, let's say a family event or a Christmas party at work, and we know we're going to be exposed to those sort of questions, are there things that we can do to prime ourselves? I don't know, maybe some sort of affirmations or a meditation or music, even something that can put ourselves in the frame of mind of feeling that I'm going to be able to respond to these triggers today, and I'm feeling strong enough, so that maybe we can stop avoiding those encounters.
Absolutely. There's one thing that I found the most powerful and that research backs up the most, and it is to make a plan. And so you can write down everything that you think is going to trigger you. You might not be able to know everything, but if you're able to write 3 to 5 things, even if not specific, that can really help. And this can be someone asking you directly, someone making comments, watching a commercial on TV that has family imagery in it, and writing these triggers and then discussing with yourself, what is the best way I can react to this? If it is leaving the room, leave the room. It's fine. It's way better than shouting at someone. If you have to leave, you leave. If you want to go to this party and you just want to stay 15 minutes instead of an hour, go and stay 15 minutes. You don't need to torture yourself for 1 hour. If someone asks and you don't want to talk, you just say, it's really not appropriate, or I don't want to talk about that. And you move on. And you have this written plan that sort of helps you be secure that, okay, I am prepared for this situation. And I am sort of reassured that I know what I'm going to do, and I have a bit of self-control. And there's another thing that is not researched, but I had a patient tell me this, and I found it so funny that I'm going to share with you. So this was a lady that hated those office Christmas parties. And she said that she's been trying for 5 years now. And so on the first year, she was like crushed by it. She really didn't like it. It was everyone talking about their own kids, and she didn't really like it. And on the second year, it was even more uncomfortable. She left. On the third year, she decided, instead of listening to the simple same Christmas songs like Mariah Carey, I'm gonna listen to heavy metal versions of these songs. And look, she felt empowered by it. She felt this sort of persona coming out of, yeah, this is my story and I'm gonna own up to it. And it really worked for her. Instead of, listening to happy, jolly carols, she would listen to these heavy metal versions of it, and she would feel powerful with it. And, she went to the party, she told everyone what happened to her. She was like, yeah, this is it. And no one ever asked her ever again what was going on in her life. She started loving these parties. And I found that so funny, but so interesting at the same time, that You might try like heavy metal carols or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I love that. I
love
love
it.
that.
Yeah.
Ola was saying, you know, in a few lives that we had, and also some clubhouse things that we had about music. Music can help us to release whatever feelings we have. So if you feel sad, sometimes even to listen, if you are stuck like with tears and they are not coming out, to listen to a sad, you know, song, it helps you to release that. And then she was explaining, I remember clearly how she, according to the mood, she can put that songs. And it's so true, Betty. Music can, for example, since I was little, and it's so weird, I don't know why. I born, you know, in a Catholic family, but since I was little, I never liked Christmas. I used to run away when my mom was like, oh, the Christmas tree. I'm like, run. What I liked was the parties, because I love to dance. So Latin music and that, you know, that happiness. And when you are into that mood, other comments that doesn't even come here, because you know what you like, what is, you know, like you are in the mood too. Now I do, you know, the Hanukkah with the girls and everything, and it's all more quiet, which I like better in that sense. But music is a very good tool for just to release and help us, you know, kind of, it's a tool, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm making no
Definitely.
strategy. So, and
We should come with like a little guide, you know,
Yeah.
like
A toolkit.
really, and we just like print it, make a PDF, and you know, give it in our bio links. I actually created one for pregnancy loss and stillbirth, and I lost it, and then I found the paper like 3 or 4 days ago that I was organizing my office after like 12 years of my stillbirth. Have it on my side, you know, here in the office, and I'm gonna put it on a PDF, because is, you know, when we go through things, I think it's easier to give advice, right? Of course, there's people that go and study certain things and help that, but either when we go through it, or we have a family member that is going through these difficulties because we live with them, that difficulty is easier for us to give advice because we have been there.
Yeah.
so
You can also try something that Andrea was saying, you know, positive affirmations or projecting or envisioning. There was once, I never tried it again. I might suggest it this year again, but you know those mini Christmas trees that you can buy. I once had this exercise of asking patients to buy like little Christmas balls where they could write something with a marker. And so we made a Christmas tree of things that they felt they needed to change for the next year, things that they wanted to see happen in their fertility journey, and things that they would accept if they wouldn't turn out okay. And so we made this Christmas tree that was a bit more personalized to them, but it was a way of sort of combining negative triggers of Christmas with something positive that they could sort of have control of. So it wasn't necessarily affirmations, and of course I always say, you know, something hopeful here and there can help, but they created this personal Christmas tree that they really liked. They associated positive things with it, with, you know, this is a time of reflection, like we were saying in the beginning, that can change my next year for the better.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Really great tips. I hope you're noting them down, Andrea. Lots of great tips.
Yes, I it's that the positive things that you mentioned, Betty and Andrea mentioned. I call them like also manifestation. I always suggest there is an author I love. I don't know if you ever heard of him, Joe Dispenza. And it's incredible. My sister actually was the one that introduced him to me, and I didn't have an idea. He has written 4 books, and they go in order. His first book, it calls Evolve Your Brain, and it has so much to do with what you, Andrea, and Betty, and Ola talk about, how it's so true. Manifesting works even with the chemical or reaction of the neurons in our brain. This guy, he was a competitor in a pentathlon, you know, so the ones that you do 5 sports in the same thing. And when he was doing the bike, a truck ran over him. And he was basically paralyzed from the neck down. He refused every possible surgery that the doctors told her, if you don't do it, you will reduce in 0 your possibilities of walk. You need to read that part of that story in the book. And eventually he himself start to apply neuroscience and connections. He start to work on his own exercise with water. And you see him today, he walk and zero surgery. So based on his own journey, he realized that our brain works with that. So manifesting and even accepting, when you get to a point that you say, okay, this is the last attempt I'm going to do for being a mom. And when we accept or for being parents, it's even easier, because then you see life in a different perspective. Okay, I try up to this point, but now I decide, okay, I can't. So let me live life, living it, because we cannot be stuck in darkness. So that thing is, I recommend that author. Go and check it out. Even he has another book that calls The Placebo Effect. You should know, like how placebo works incredible in our bodies, minds, perspectives. So that's another tool I will suggest to our audience to check on that.
Okay.
That's great. Thank you. Can you put it in the comments as well?
Yes, my love. Yeah, I am always terrible with comments.
I think for me, apart from all the amazing tips given by Beatrice, Andre, and Monica, I think also perhaps if you have a really, really crazy friend that you can go along to the parties, family events, and they pretty much stay with you throughout the entire event. If anyone comes with a crazy question, they're ready to either give you a really bad look or change the subject. They literally just don't give any chance, because
That's
you know how
me.
those parties,
I will
especially
be there with you, all of you guys.
yeah, you just let them deal with it, because again, most times those friends don't have any relationship with your family or with those friends at work, so they have no problem.
Yeah, we have no filter. There's no filter.
Not today. This is not the conversation for here. We're not talking about that today. I don't think that's any of your business. I think that's inappropriate. They just, okay, you might not want to say that to that auntie or to that uncle or to that other person because they're older or whatever. So they have no problem telling them not to talk about it. And so they help you.
Do you know what
you were saying?
Do you know what would go well with that? Is humor and sarcasm.
Yeah.
If they ask, when are you having children? An easier way to answer could be, before we start about my sex life, let's talk about yours first.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. Right? That is an awesome one.
Yeah, because
that
really,
is yes,
what
it's
we're
so
asking,
true.
it is, because yes, of course, some people, exploring IVF treatments or all the treatments or whatever, but in the actual case that people are asking, without you telling them they're doing fertility treatments, you're pretty much asking me about my sex life, right? And it's how is that any of your business? That would be inappropriate for other conversations, but for when is the baby coming, it's okay. Do you need help? Do you know what you're doing? Are you doing it right? Are you making sure you're putting the pillow under your legs? You putting your legs on the wall? Seriously? Wow.
Yeah, so after that, just put your legs up, then the thing is going to come and you're going to get pregnant. It's so
And I did that. I did that for a long time. I had lots of bladder infections, UTIs for that, because I lay there for such a long time saying, oh, you can't get up, because if you get up, it's going to flow out. But
there was something funny of what you say, Andra. In the event I was in September here in the city with pregnancies, we were talking actually about that sarcastic comments, and then there was this beautiful couple, two ladies. They were from Virginia. They were married. They have a baby boy, and now the other wife was trying the IVF. So we were talking about that sarcasm. So the one that I came up is someone asked you, okay, so why you don't have babies? I will say, it came just out randomly. That's what my daughter and my husband says. You come with some random things that they are funny, but then you can't catch it. And it's I will say, well, I don't know how to make babies. Can you explain me how to make babies? Like a little 9-year-old will ask, I don't know how to make babies. So you explain me how my babies are made. So then they were cracking up, because they say, of course, if an answer like that is okay. You're saying you are a 9-year-old, you are a 40 or 50-year-old woman with a 9 or 10-year-old, brain. My daughter came, and for me it was easy. Oh, you are in a petri dish. I don't need to go into all the sex thing. But yes, Sandra, that's a great idea.
Love it.
Yeah. We'll write it down in our PDF booklet.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are the good one in taking notes. I take notes all over, so then they get lost.
And again, these tapes are useful. It doesn't matter if it's Christmas or not. For
Yes.
any family gatherings, any holiday, anytime you have to be at, work events or any events with people, when people just ask any random questions, or so it's useful all the time, really.
Yes. Yes.
I'd also say be mindful that people aren't trying to be mean. People genuinely don't know. They think they are doing something good. They think they are helping you out. People don't know. Okay, so most of the time, just be mindful before you explode or before you are quick to answer something. Just think, okay, this person is absolutely outside of my world, so they really don't know, and most of the people don't even have fertility awareness. Like, they don't understand that it's not that easy. So be mindful of that as well. I think I've seen some patients who are very quick or very prone to being easily triggered because, I mean, things have just been so difficult for them, or people have just been so inappropriate that it's impossible. And for those people, I say leave. If you can't be there, leave, and it's okay. For those who are able to sort of play with the situation, humor can be quite stellar and can work really well. And sort of do your breathing so that situations don't escalate. And that can be very powerful because you can be playful and then the other person takes it the wrong way. Do your breathing, be calm, and leave if you have to. And I think that's the most important thing that I'd say to someone. You don't owe anyone anything. If they don't
Yes.
understand, it's okay. It's not their fault, but it's also not on you to explain it to them, at least not right there and then. So if you
Yeah.
need, leave. And it's
And you
okay.
don't even have to go. Like, you don't actually even have to go. Like, if you know that I can't do this today, then don't. Like, be selfish. Like, focus on your mental health, your well-being. Like, you know what, today I don't want to do this party. I'll see you guys next time, right? Because and as you were saying, Beatrice, I know that it's true that lots of people mean well, but there are some mean people that
Oh,
they
absolutely.
know
They do
what
it
they're
on
doing.
purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Ola. I wanted
As
to
soon
say
as they
that.
see you smiling and laughing, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, let me find something to like
Yeah.
And
get in there.
today, like Ola says, with social media, fertility awareness is all over the place, Betty. So I tell you something. I am explosive. I am a person that let my emotions take over. There is no doubt. I will be a liar if I tell that no, I am. And I tell you, I every day, and it's the hardest work, is the work within, much more than the work with others or outside. The work within for me is, and sometimes when I fell into a situation where I am going up there and I am in that calm and I'm practicing or something, and there is a situation that just fire me up and I fall so down, it's like I feel so guilty and I'm like, oh shoot, I destroyed everything I did. So I am very hard on myself too because of that. So for me, super, super hard to get there, and it's an everyday work, and I think I'm gonna die probably with a little bit of that explosion, but the practice, it's what it matters. And I always said to Andrea, to you, to Ola, being a coach, it's okay because we can help others, but the worst is to be a coach to yourself.
Yeah.
My emotions sometimes take me to places that I say after the reaction, I'm like, what did I just do? Why I did this? I should have done this. And that is so difficult to work. It's easy to say, and I get you 100%. And I tell you that because I am in a journey in my life now to try to be like that, because with my kids, and I interrupt, and I need to say something after when they are saying something, because then I forget. So it's learning to listening to what you say, breathing, to be quiet, and just heard, and maybe talk after whatever it comes out is really what it was important from that. Is very, very difficult. So for me, for example, when I was going through the infertility, especially the last time, I got to a point that I didn't care anymore. You ask me, yes, I am infertile. My family learned probably in my last cycle, And after my stillbirth baby girl, you know, I didn't say to no one that I was pregnant. I hid that pregnancy from everyone because I was scared that, you know, something is going to happen after I had a baby at 39 weeks dead. And then the comments start. Even I had an aunt that says, did you adopt? And I'm like, I wanted to punch her in the face. And she was my aunt. Are you kidding me? I have all the right, like you say, to be quiet and don't tell anything to anyone, even my own dad. I will choose the people that I want them to know. And if I decide not to say to no one, that's my thing. But yes, you're right. A lot of people and most people don't know. But today with technology, most people know.
Yeah.
And if they come and say a comment knowing that you are in social media and you are an advocate or you are a patient or something, it's what Ola says. I will explode, boom. But yes, it's a hard work.
It also sounds like just asking, did you adopt? It's a bit out of
Yes,
the blue. If the person was to say, I'm really sorry, I know this or I heard that, I really want to help, and how can I be there for you? You'd be much more willing to
Yeah.
to
and
say
this
something,
exactly.
isn't
And
it?
this aunt came to me knowing what Ola says. It didn't came from a good place.
Yeah.
And I right away sent her to hell. I told her, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
this is not of your business. I didn't told you and most of you because you are very gossip and you come with sarcastic comments. So go think whatever the heck you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
Later on, you know, they came, told my mom, I'm sorry, whatever, but that's what all that also I think means. Some people know and they come and they just want to just pinch you because yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you were to imagine like multiple filters, you sort of filter people throughout your life, and you keep those closer that you feel are better for you,
Yeah.
and those who are toxic are sort of lost in the upper filters, isn't
Yes.
it? And it's great when we are able to do this. And don't be scared, whoever's listening, to point out who is being toxic in your life. We think people always come from a good place. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't, okay? People might not mean it, people might not be aware of it, people might have difficult pasts, but toxicity is toxicity. So don't be scared of filtering these people and saying, you're being really toxic for me right now and I don't want to engage with you. And that's
Yeah.
that. Don't be
Even if
scared
it's your own
for doing
family, I will
that.
say that. Even
Oh,
if it is someone,
absolutely.
because sometimes it happens.
Many times it is. Many times it is. And that's what makes it more difficult, is
Yes.
to realize when those who are supposed to be closer to you aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be scared of doing that, even if it's family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And when we have someone, let's say Christmas time, and the whole family is together, and there is a new baby in the family.
Ooh.
I saw all your eyes roll.
No, but that's actually, yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Continue.
No, that's it. That's the scenario, and it's super difficult. Right.
Well, that happened to me even last year because one of my siblings did. And, of course, we had to go to the hospital and it was amazing. And of course, it is beautiful, but it's just that everyone starts to look at you like, oh, they're waiting for your expression.
Yeah.
Are you looking funny? Are you crying? Are you not smiling enough? Like, it's almost like you need to be at your best behavior. Like, I had to prep myself that I need to be at my best because I want to ensure that I look really, really happy and I'm not jealous. Like, it's a different case to be say you're jealous when it's a friend or a coworker or whatever. But when it's your family, of
You
course you
can
have
be,
feelings, but
you
it just
can be
seems like you
grateful.
need to be at your best. Like, deal with your emotions when you're away, but don't bring it here. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because so you don't have to tell yourself, I have to ensure that I'm at my best, right? Like, listen to music before you go. Like, okay, all right, this is it. This is great. I'm an auntie again. Yeah, hooray! Cut me balloons and cut me presents. Make sure everything shows that you're really, really happy.
Yeah.
What can you do, right? And then you go back when you're thinking, frick, man, like, when is it gonna happen? Why is it taking this long or whatever? But I don't know.
That's one of the things I think I am happy that I was a mom late because, ladies, I come from a big family from my mom's side. So before I met my husband and all of that, I really didn't want to get married and didn't have kids. So all the gatherings with babies and I was not into children, so it was okay for me. But I try to put myself, what if I would be in this moment, or when I wanted with that, oh, probably with all this crazy big family that I have, I will maybe not even go, forget it, because it's what you say, Ola. And again, my emotions are above my my rational thing, so I will not go for that reason, because I know that something will trigger me and I will explode. It happens to me, when after my first cycle, and when I was trying to to get pregnant again. I remember we had a friend in common, and she had 2 children, and then she was saying, that's it, I'm done, and she was ready to go and think pill or put the IUD, whatever it is that you don't get pregnant. So like 3 weeks later, I am in Costco, and she's there, and she knows that I'm going through my 3rd cycle. And I don't know if she forgot, like Ola says, or I don't know if she just make it like, and she came and she's like, you know what, I'm pregnant, and I didn't want to get pregnant, and look. And now with this card, oh, I tell you, I had maybe, I don't know, 3 things there. I just left the car in front of there. I didn't even say bye to her, get to the car. I called my husband, I started hysterical crying. What the hell is this? Crying. How'd she do that to me? She goes, she knows that I'm going through she don't want babies, and accidentally now she's pregnant. It's a terrible feeling. And like he was trying to calm me down. Maybe she didn't mean it, but you always are with that. She knew, and and really maybe she didn't mean it. It just came out, even though she knew I was going through the cycle. For sure it was that. But in that moment, I thought, how you do that to me? So it's very, very difficult. That's why we roll eyes, Sandra. I think all of us, including you.
And I'm thinking partners, I think, can play a good role. A role either helping or hindering those triggers and those moments. But I'm thinking about moments when those moments could have been triggers for me. And what I've really appreciated about Frank, my husband, is that he would always ask, how are you feeling? Do you think this is going to be a problem? Do you want to talk about it? So he always makes these comments even without me saying anything. And even if it's not a problem even in my head at that moment, but for him, he always asks, and it's something that I don't take for granted. But I think it is really helpful if you have someone in your life who can support you in those moments that can be a bit difficult to, just to find someone, even if it's not a partner or a friend or someone who can be there with you, I think can be really helpful.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, definitely. And even when you said that, because last night we were watching a movie, actually it was 2 movies, and these were like Nigerian movies. We have some TV channels that and 2 of the movies. The first one was about someone trying to conceive and for such a long time. The next one was about someone having recurrent losses, and it was just weird. Like that was happening on TV. Wow. And then my husband was like, "Oh, is this okay? Like, do you want me to change this channel? Like, is this too much?" And I was like, "No, actually, it's actually interesting to see that coming up, so that at least we are having the conversation.
Yeah.
Like the country is aware that this happens." So it was interesting to have him say that. And of course, when I go to those places, my siblings and my family, when there's a newborn and stuff, as much as I feel it, I think he also feels it sometimes as well, because obviously he also has to see the newborn and say, hey, you know what, I wish that was us, right? Or whatever the case. But again, understanding each other and being able to hold each other's hands and just look at each other, knowing that we know and we understand, that's sometimes enough.
Yes.
And actually even counting yourself lucky and fortunate that that's what it is, because in reality, that's not what it is for everyone, right? Some people, that happens and they're pretty much on their own with that whole journey, because that other person feels that, this must have happened if I was with somebody else, and this is only happening to me because I'm with you, or whatever the case might be. So again, it's a blessing that that's the case.
In that sense, it is absolutely.
We have this community as well here on Instagram. And I would like everyone who is connected to us to feel comfortable to reach out, on our DMs if they're struggling and if they're feeling alone during this season, just to reach out to us. We always answer our DMs. You are not alone. And if there isn't a person in your life that you can confide in, definitely you can confide in us.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
It's open, that line of
I
communication.
love that, Andrea. Yes.
I would also add that if you do have a new baby in the family, it's okay to be envious and still be happy for them at the same time, because people
Yeah.
don't feel one emotion at a time. We feel multiple
Exactly.
things. You can be grateful for who you are and still wish to be in their position and still be happy for them. Like, one thing doesn't contradict the other. So I think sort of allowing yourself to feel these emotions and digest them and accept them is good.
Mm-hmm.
Don't live in thought prison, don't live in feelings prison. You can be free in that sense. You can feel whatever you want and it's okay. And absolutely, if you want to talk to me, I talk to patients all day long, and Andrea knows that that we sort of text longingly on WhatsApp all the time. So if anyone is alone or wants to chat, I'll very gladly do that. So
Yes,
yeah.
definitely. We are here for you guys. And like you say, Andrea, we always answer messages. I'll always try my best. And you know what is a good gathering for you guys to remember something, just like a last little thing, that there is a lot of groups, like Andrea says, of support, not only here in social media. Find groups in your local places. For example, here in United States, we have Resolve organization. There is groups there. I was just 2 days or 3 days ago in their Night of Hope, and to be with people that have gone through all of this, that cheer you up. It sounds maybe like you could say, Beatrice, contradicting, but to be with them and seeing how incredible support they offer is cheering you up. So you know that you are not alone. So it's us here in DM finding local groups, because sometimes we don't want to confide in our family or with our friends because they don't understand, as Beatrice says in the beginning, not because they are mean or because it's just because they don't know and they are not in our shoes. So reach out, because I know that this time that is coming with Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, all of that is really hard, especially if you didn't reach out or didn't get to the goal of being parents. And I encourage also men to try to do that, because you have that kind of belief that being vulnerable is being weak, and I will tell you that is absolutely the opposite. I think that that's one of the things that make us women very strong and make us women is that we are vulnerable. Some crazy like me, very emotional, some more calm like Beatrice, less, more like into the mindfulness and all of that. But I think that this is what makes us stronger. So I encourage also, if you are a partner to your wife and you are a man, also reach out to us. Or there is some men in the community. Ola and I and Andrea have few in our accounts that you can reach out, and they are very open. And it's beautiful because it can help also your other side, your partner.
Men struggle a lot, and in silence, okay? Suicide rates are way higher in men than they are in women. Just because support isn't as available or there aren't as many groups, do reach out. And just to make you feel a bit more comfortable, all of us have already either coached or had therapy with men. And just because we're women doesn't mean that we'll hear you any differently. So if you are alone and you are a man, do reach out, because this hurts you just as much as it would hurt anyone else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Well said, ladies. And I think just like Beatrice said, you can have a combination of feelings, because when it was a new baby in the family, I definitely wanted to be there. So there was no way I wasn't going to be there. I wanted to meet that new baby. But of course, I also acknowledge the fact that I also wanted it to be me as well.
Of course.
So, and it's okay to have both. So I think sometimes we think that just because you wish that was also you means you can't also be happy that there's a new baby to play with. And
Absolutely.
so It was a combination of both. So
I think that
thank you so much, ladies, for sharing.
that is probably the first. I think I'm writing down, and I've written down tips that we've done, and I think we need to put them together in a little booklet. But I think that one of acknowledging our emotions
Yes.
is probably can be the first one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Andrea.
I'm going to tell you the other ones we have here in no particular order. We have planning to decide what can be a trigger and how can we respond to that. We talked a bit about music and how music can change our emotions and make us feel stronger or a bit better in terms of responding to things. We had here the manifestation tree.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's a lovely name, a manifestation tree. Absolutely. Instead
Yeah, I
of
love it.
Christmas manifestation tree. I loved it.
And we have here creating new traditions by yourself or with a partner or with friends or a group of people that you love. We have here finding a buddy that can go with you to those events and can help you respond when you're a bit slower to respond.
Yeah.
We have here humor and sarcasm. Well,
yes.
And we have here the filter. So being mindful that some people genuinely don't know, but also some people may not be so kind. So having that filter of people in your life, and just being mindful of that, responding depending on that filter. And also the self-care. I think Ola, you mentioned that, the importance of taking care of yourself and not feeling like you have to go to these events if you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Finally, number 10, our community and the communities that you can find around you as well.
Yeah, I think Beatrice also mentioned that even if you go, you can leave early. Like there's no requirement to stay for the entire.
Don't need to suffer.
There is a movie. It might not have anything to do with infertility or fertility, but it's about that. It's with Blake Lively. I saw it the other day with my little one and my husband. The lives, so the years of Adali.
Oh yeah, I saw that a long time ago.
I suggested to our community because then is what Beatrice says. She don't age for 100 and something years. There's some natural thing that make her not age. So her daughter aged more than her, and then she needs to hide because the FBI is kind of chasing after her to do experiments on her because they want to find out. So she needs to change her identity for so many years until not. And this movie can inspire you as part of the community into what just Beatrice says. You can choose the times, what Ola says. You can be in a place and stay for as long as you feel to. And then if you need to just leave because it's protecting you. So whatever is like an armor to protect our feelings, our emotions, and also at the same time not being rude with others, which, well, no, it's not rude, but okay, whatever. So we can watch that movie. And then, Andrea, you can do the booklet and I can take care of the little design if you want. Because I'm the writing up.
Yeah.
I make a little cartoon or something with my friend that is an illustrator of the four of us. We put the faces there and I send you that.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it.
Yes. I will do it. So I'll take care of that. I'll have it for next week ready and I send it to you ladies in the WhatsApp group that we have. And you approve it, and then we go from there. Okay.
Yay.
Sounds good. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you so much, girls. It was a great Insta Live, and I'm sure that is going to help a lot of people during this festive season.
Absolutely. Yes. And, we talk with everybody inside, and then we plan our next one because ideas, like Ola says, at least make one Instagram Live a month. If we could do more, we plan it and let you know. Thank you so much, everyone. I love you, ladies.
Bye.
Thanks. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.